advocacy that is going on, and that's the linkage that they've been able to create. So, Honorable Sigismund, so don't worry, we're almost rounding up. This is the last question, and then we have the last words from our panelists, and we call it a day. Honorable Sigismund, the question is, what key support mechanisms are needed at the grassroots level to accelerate women's access to financial independence?
One, I would say empowerment. Empowerment is not a privilege, it's a right for every woman. We all have to have our right to funding. We all have our right to grants. And we always have our right to, what is important to us. Like most women, we always feel challenges in the way that, okay, when we wanted something, we feel it's not our right to go for it. But I just want to say to every woman, when you invest in a woman, you invest in a community. Because when you give her, like what one of my leaders said now, when you give her $20, she multiply it to $100. So empowerment and skill training is the key word. Because when we empower them, we're making them to have stability. We're making them to have something for them to, okay, you know what? I have this to lean on. I have this to protect my family and to multiply my resources.
So one thing here is that your rights as women, we need to amplify the rights of women. Who is with me on that? Action, like power, what is it? Power for women, right?
Power for action.
Yes, we're going for action. It's not what we need to know, and we just have 3 years because the minister said 2 years is for reports and all, so we only have 3.
Everything is possible if you have faith and believe on it.
Thank you. Fumi?
I'll say, most times people say, open the door. It's beyond opening the door. We need to break every barrier, every policy, financial barriers, all the barriers. We need to break everything. And women if we stop seeing women as an afterthought, but we should start seeing women as a massive economic force.
Thank you. Thank you. Jamie?
Certainly when we partnered with them to drive the Nigerian Digital program here. There are over 20,000 young people across the country are supposed to receive direct access to employment and skills immediately after graduation. And the expectation is that after they have been integrated into the NGFP program, they have the necessary skill set that's required for them to enter into the workforce with experience so that they are not necessarily left behind in the scheme of things. Because again, within the space where we work, we find that it's difficult to find jobs when you don't have the relevant career experience. So immediately after school as a young graduate, you want to be able to find a job. But because some of these job opportunities come with 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years experience, you almost are relegated into the background. But with a partnership like this that have completed for over 3 years, you are able to provide not just the direct access to jobs, but economic empowerment and enablement for young people to be able to get out of the university immediately and then connect opportunities with the expectation that employers will pay their services because of the profound quality of work that they bring to each of the organizations. There are many to find, and partnerships cut beyond just the private public sector. It also can come from even the CSO space. Oftentimes, some of the big investment partners are those that are provided by smaller organizations that are often neglected because we consider them too small to become useful in those communities. But we find that CSOs that have been around for a while, closing the gap where government intervention has not been able to reach, play a significant role when it comes to strategic partnerships, helping institutions like UNDP to reach the most vulnerable in hard-to-reach communities. So I would say partnerships that will eventually yield long-term impact have to be one that has the spirit of fair play, has the spirit of ensuring that nobody is left behind, and has the spirit of symbiotic relationship where each partner leaves with something on the table without one feeling cheated or feeling neglected or feeling overused in the course of engaging in such partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that fantastic answer. And I want to summarize really quickly on something that I really appreciated that you said. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's a mutual relationship when we talk about partnerships. And reason why I asked that question first is to start that foundation. Okay, when we talk about partnerships, we want to be able to talk about creating lasting change, creating sustainable change, right? But let's talk about how we can future-proof the workforce. So I'm going to open up this question, actually, ask you really quickly, Claire, if you can answer this. As industries rapidly evolve, what groundbreaking innovations or strategies have you seen or implemented that can help leaders future-proof the workforce? Is there anything else that you would like to share outside of the representation, visibility of civil society in these spaces that, collaborating with UNDP? Is there anything else that you'd like to share specifically about future-proofing the workforce?
Absolutely, and I will bring the context within the work we do here in Nigeria and by extension Africa. Nigeria has the biggest economy in Africa and also, I would say, the largest youth demography within the continent. And that then means that Nigeria plays a significant role in future-proofing the workforce. And even the more instructive is the fact that the African continent, come the next 10 years, will be the youngest continent in the world. And what does that mean for us? It could be an opportunity to become the continent to go into negotiation with to ensure that the right skills are available both within the context of the African continent and globally. Or it could either become a cesspool of challenges where if we don't future-proof the workforce of the Nigerian people and the continent at large. And so what does this mean for African government? I think that to become competitive as a continent and be able to provide solutions to some of the great challenges we have, it is extremely important that we have a skilled workforce. We have a workforce that is ready to take on opportunities within the global space. And the more importantly, we have a workforce that is ready to fill the gaps, the opportunities that are going to be coming in a very short time frame. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, AI is going to be transforming every sphere. The question will not be, is Africa ready to fill in that void? Because you find that across the continent, the number of continents are having declining youth population, and very soon all our attention, and if you look at right now, all the attention is coming to Africa. And because this is Africa's time, it's extremely important that governments need to pay attention to the kind of skills, to the kind of opportunities that they are able to provide the young people with. It means that for every young African out there, there's an opportunity for you to become an integral part of the workforce globally. How we then take advantage of the opportunity will be how well we are investing in our young people, how well we are investing in the infrastructure that will make us workforce ready, and how well we are investing in AI and digital technology and innovation to strengthen our opportunities within the global area. I think it's an opportunity the way I see it for us, and I think that African government, if there's one thing that it needs to do, is to start to invest strategically and urgently on its youth. Because that is the future of the continent, and that is the future that the world is shining its light on in a couple of years. The question is Africa ready to rise up to that occasion? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer, Claire. And I have to say, I was just told that we have to wrap up this panel, and I want to give Abiola, are you okay? Or I wanted to actually extend that question to you really quickly. You're going to wrap us up. I want to give you time to speak really quickly. So my question to you, advice to the next generation. For young professionals entering today's workforce, adaptability and resilience are key. What are the most valuable skills or mindsets they should cultivate to not only succeed, but also shape the future of work? We will end our panel.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Good day, everyone. Thanks for having me. And because we are pressed for time, I'll just quickly go straight to the point. I feel that one of the very key skills that I will advise women to embrace is adaptability, right? We need to be able to adapt, right? We're all talking about AI. Most people just want to stick to what they're known to be doing before now, but we really need to be able to adapt and we are willing to learn, right? We need to acquire more knowledge. Nothing is going to be given to us à la carte. We need to position ourselves for that opportunity, right? Constant knowledge and networking. And this is where conferences and strategic platforms like this is very important as women. We need to leverage our networking for collaboration, for mutual values, right? Collaboration shouldn't be one-sided. It shouldn't be selfish, right? So I would say adaptability and constant knowledge acquisition.
would be right for us, yeah.
Thank you so much for that answer, Abiola. And as I heard you speaking, right, we are wrapping up this panel, and I just want to signal to Chase and other organizers that if we can please have Ms. Hawa Taylor Kumar Diallo to come in to the room, as well as the other members of IBTK Foundation, so that way we can segue and transition seamlessly. But I did want to say something that I noticed, the common denominator was the mutual respect. That is something that I know I've spoken about firsthand as a woman, right? The importance of being able to have a space that is created not just by women, but also by all of our allies, right? So that way we can collaborate intentionally. Something I shared very quickly at a panel earlier this morning for the Equal Pay International Coalition is that if we only have women supporting women, that is important, right? We need that. We absolutely need women supporting women. But without male allies, without decision makers who can be able to then take that collaboration and turn that into a partnership, sometimes it's just words, right? So we have to think about what can we do together intentionally to be able to not just network for the sake of networking, but network for the sake of being able to support each other's businesses, organizations, initiatives, right? To drive lasting change, it has to be mutual. All right, so with that being said, thank you so much. I want to ask, in 30 seconds, Claire, Abiola, is there anything else that you would like to share before we officially close this panel off?
I would just say that when women thrives, the nation prospers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Claire, was there something that you wanted to share? No time? No time? Okay, got it. Just wanted to make sure everyone had a chance to speak. As we transition to the next segment of our event, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to this panel's sponsor, IBTK Foundation, for their unwavering commitment to empower communities and fostering sustainable development. Okay, you will now start.
Thank you so much, Carrier, for that panel. Thank you to all our panelists. Well, at the last segment of this event, we thank those who have been patiently waiting, and we thank our hosts also who have waited so much to making sure this happened. I'd like to first call on our world officiant, who is somebody close to my heart, someone who I love the work that she does. I stalk her a lot on LinkedIn, and she knows that getting her here today to at least help us do this ceremony is very significant. I'd like to call on my big auntie, Tolulope, to join us. She's the head of government at the UN Global Compact. And I'd like to call all the honorees to please stand up, because we're going to be doing this thing as quick as possible. If you're in the room and you are honorees, we're not going to be calling out the list of names, but we'll just have your flags, and all. She'll just make some quick remarks. Then we'll get all our honorees inducted. The idea for the Nobel Award is to recognize not just your past accomplishment, but also to let you know that you can collaborate as a team till the end of the year doing community work to support other women. So I'd like to take a quick remarks from Ms. Tolulope, please. Thank you. Please, all honorees to please stand up, please. Can you all come up on the stage? Come on the stage, please. Let's do this quickly. And all honorees come to the stage, please.
Greetings, everyone, and good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for stopping me, Chase, and for bringing me here. My name is Tolu, as Chase mentioned, and as the honorees working, could we allow them to quietly come up this time? Thank you so much. And I'm the Chief of Government Relations in Africa at the UN Global Compact. So I think I'll give folks a minute to come up on stage and then continue.
Sorry, please, one house, please. Can we have all honorees on the stage while she gives the statement? Please.
Excellent. So we have our honorees on stage. So I just wanted to kick off this segment with a few remarks. I think, it's important that we set the context of the importance of the discussions and discussion today, which is about AI-driven workforce revolution, and also the importance that women can place in advancing AI technologies. I think the last speakers have said the fantastic opportunity that exists around partnerships and collaboration, the importance of innovation, so I won't repeat that. But I wanted to call on our work as UN Global Compact and really touch on the role that businesses and the private sector can play around gender, innovation, and AI. UN Global Compact as an organization focuses on advancing the SDGs and the 10 principles which align to the work of the UN and bringing in the voice of businesses into that arena. And one of our latest publications looks at AI for the global goals. I'm not going to go into details here this evening, but I'm going to encourage you to look out for that report because it has very good recommendations as to how to advance gender equality as one of the key global goals in advancing AI. My last message to this gathering will be let's continue to invest in gender responsive AI in the workplace, in institutional reform, because we're not only encouraging an inclusive work environment, we are unlocking, and please take note, the untapped potential that women can place in driving economic growth.
David, and I will be handling this particular panel session. In this session, we'll be speaking mostly on AI, machine learning, as well as employee resource groups. Basically how it shapes the future of work for women. And like I mentioned, my name is Achalu. I am the lead consultant at Project Pro. I am an expert in impact investment as well as sustainable development, and I've worked on a couple of the largest projects in Africa, mostly focused on gender inclusion and women empowerment. I'm quite excited about the lineup of experts that we have from diverse sectors really, and they will be contributing insights and basically just sharing their knowledge on leveraging technology as well as community-driven approaches to creating a healthier and more supportive work environment. So to kickstart, we have Ebaide Queen Omioni. So she's the founder of the Ebaide Becky Initiative. She is a seasoned lawyer, development professional, as well as sustainability advocate. She has been instrumental in advancing the, just please clap for her as we are. Yes, so she has been instrumental in advancing Nigeria's SDG framework, and through her initiative, she drives climate education as well as social impact. We also have on the panel Anuli Anyebo. I don't know if she's here. Okay, yes, we also have Diana Agus. And I think you're meant to come physically.
You see the pain points, and I think that from employer side, so many people waiting for come, but I think we see the ambition, but we really need to make noise to the policymaker.
Yes, the policymakers are also,
the business owner, because only when they understand what's going on, that top down, and then we can all elevate.
Okay. Thank you so much for those pointers. I want to move quickly to Councilwoman Roxy. Your work in ethical AI and public policy, also knowing that you're also a founder, spans government sector and like Microsoft, grassroots initiatives like the Beyond Foundation. How can policymakers and corporations collaborate to ensure AI-driven tools like you're creating, like Sanicle, like Asha, and a couple of other tools out there, who are working to making sure they are equitable and scalable? Because one of the struggles is like, how do I get funded? How do I get supported? Who should I partner with? How do I even approach council members or work with the governments of Maryland or governments of New York or even the presidency in scaling some of these tools?
Amazing question. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be with you today. Let me just start by saying what's currently broken. I think when a lot of people think about regulators and legislation, they are always approaching this from the perspective of, oh, ethical AI, or we need this push for AI, and you don't understand AI, you need to regulate AI, it's moving so fast, AI. And I honestly have always thought it's the worst approach. Of course, there are a lot of legislators out there who don't fully understand technology or the speed at which technology is moving. I advise members of the Senate, I advise members of Congress, I advise a number of different governors on how to think about artificial intelligence and just learning technology across the board. However, I've always thought about it from the perspective of how can we as government incentivize more founders to start companies? How can we as government incentivize scalability and accessibility to these new ways of being able to reach our constituents and to embrace and adopt these technologies that are coming out so that we can tackle the problems quicker? I think the biggest problem for us is there's a growing barrier in society, divide in society, between solutions and problems. The way that people integrate with society is changing. I just left the roundtable a couple of minutes ago, which is why I was late, I'm so sorry about that. That was talking about how do we reach people on the ground for healthcare access. Well, hold on. Why are we still talking about pop-up clinics when there's technology? And the example that I gave them is the likelihood of a woman between the ages of 10 to 16 years old going to a pop-up clinic is slim to none. Let's just be honest about it. And so what my question to that table was, why aren't you looking for more technology solutions? Why aren't you trying to partner with them to influence how they are using data to holistically develop products? One of the biggest things that we think about at my startup in my company, because we started in the space of focusing on women, and my background is I worked at Microsoft, Amazon, and other social media startups that focus on this issue of online safety and the impacts of online safety and consumerism and just adoption and how people evolve in society. But one of the biggest things that I urge people to think about is how can we as government be partnering with startups to help them uniquely understand the problems that we're challenged with, and so that they can have more use cases, so we can get them in front of potential users who are going to be adopted. How are we brokering those partnerships and then now providing incentives when they are using holistic approach and ethical approach on how they handle data or how they engage with their users or how they scale adoption? So I think it is twofold. We need to think beyond how we use legislation, because it's not just this push for, oh, ethical AI. I mean, yes, that's important. No question about it. I represent Prince George's County, Maryland, which is, a lot of people know Prince George's County because it is predominantly Black and home to the African diaspora across the United States of America. And one of the biggest things I say is like, we need to think beyond this push for regulation and legislation on ethical AI. Because at the end of the day, there's no doubt about it that we already think about it. There's no doubt about it that conversation is already dominating the bigger stage. But how can we now think beyond that and say, okay, you're a particular type of founder. I know your story, I know your challenge. So what does it look like when we use tax incentives and things like that to support you so that that can close your funding gap? Like, you know what I mean? Yes. And then secondly, how can I now partner with you to give you easier access to the users that you're trying to acquire so you can decrease your marketing spend? So now you have that direct partnership that will help you scale at a quicker rate.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I know we're very short on time. We'll just take one from Ceci, quickly take from Asha. I know me and Zoo will just keep our hotline. So we'll just take quickly from Ceci and Raj. What's your concluding thoughts? How do you think people can move forward, especially those in this room who want to take next steps?
Well, I guess it starts with voicing your concerns, but also your desire to see things change, and using groups, advocacy groups in particular, or ERGs that were mentioned in the previous panel, and claim for rights. I think the government has to play its part, but also the corporations, by building the workplace where people can thrive and grow. And it's not just an individual responsibilities, but a collective one, I think.
Rash, I think the question directly will be for you and to these people. You see a lot of non-profits here. We see Dr. Padney from the New York Medical. Also, we have medical professionals in the room. And a lot of people just want to partner. They want to know, how can I work with you? What can I do as next step? What will be your advice or tips, on taking on those type of people?
Yeah, I mean, we are always looking to partner with anyone who's helping increase access to care and aligns with our mission. So Asha is a conversational AI caregiver, but we also have a platform through which anyone that has a healthcare service or even a wellness service, anything from transportation to medically compliant meals to professional, caregiving or mental health therapy, we want to be able to offer all of these services to our patients through our platform and essentially empower a very tech-challenged population to have the same access to care and therefore access to technology that you and I do by simplifying this healthcare and technology access through the platform. So if you are a healthcare service, a wellness service, or a medical device, or a healthcare organization, we work with all of these different types of organizations through Asha, through our platform. And we're also now working with pharma, helping essentially pharma and trial sites run virtual clinical trials through Asha, really empowering anyone from the comfort of their own home to be able to join potentially life-saving clinical research. So if you are any of these healthcare organizations, please do come and find us. You can reach me directly. My email is rashmi@ashaai.com. And if you want to find us on the web, we're asha.healthcare.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you all for this groundbreaking insight. Please, I'd like to call you again to do a virtual session like this so we can have a bigger extension. We're just time constrained. And you can also check Zoo's LinkedIn page. Join all our speakers on LinkedIn so they can share more of this tip. Invest in AI. They serve people, not just profits. Join us in making biological equity a strategic priority. Thank you, panelists, for lighting the ways. And I'm also excited to see one of my sisters just got into the room, and she'll be further introduced later. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
We're going to have the IBTK Foundation panel now. I'm going to call on Cairo Eubanks, Benga Akin Bulere, Abiola.
I would like to keep to it, so please bear with us. I know everybody is time constrained, and we also appreciate those who are joining us online. Before we take on the Vivacity panel, I would like to call our host from Columbia SIPA, Sanicle, to give a short remarks. Thank you. So Vivacity PR panel, please get ready. You're going next after this presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable ministers, excellencies, esteemed guests, to each and every one of you here today, both virtual and in person. On behalf of Columbia University's SIPA Pan-African Network, I take this opportunity to welcome you all to our campus here in Morningside Heights. There is a saying, if you are in a country that is progressive, the woman is progressive. If you are in a country that reflects consciousness toward the importance of education, it is because the woman is aware of the importance of education. These are the words of El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, an icon known to many as Malcolm X. Today, it gives us pleasure to join with you all in not only celebrating pivotal accomplishments at the intersection of women's health and African development, but also engaging in conversations that have the capacity to positively impact future generations. SPAN, as our organization is called, firmly believes in the power of collaboration and unity to achieve a common goal. Events like this remind us that vision is never achieved alone. Neither is it realized overnight. But through the course of struggles, triumphs, and even small victories that culminate into a mosaic of human progress and resilience. While today may be marked with festivities, may it also be a reminder that there is still so much more to be done. As we consider the work of our respective countries and organizations represented here today, let us not forget the humanitarian mandate to uplift one another, never ceasing to stand with those crying out, especially in our sister nations like in Khartoum and Bukavu. In these days and times, may we wield greater clarion calls to even greater action. In the old adage, we must lift others as we climb. We are grateful to Afrotech NYC for involving us in this opportunity to come together. It is exciting to see so many innovative minds in one room, and we look forward to the many outcomes that will result. Thank you so much, and happy Women's History Month.
Gentlemen, for joining this critical conversation today. We're going to be gisting a lot, both of us. So in the event that you have any questions, please note it down, and then we'll get to it. So I think my first question really will be with your initiative and your work in sustainability and climate action, and how it connects environment to social well-being. How do you think that AI and machine learning can help create a more inclusive and sustainable future of work for women, especially in industries that are dominated by men?
Thank you very much for that question. And it's very exciting actually to be here. I'm particularly very happy to be here to share this thought with you. So, 30 years on, we're here, still having this conversation. And I was talking to a friend 2 days ago. I said, in 1995, I was barely a toddler in 1995, and 30 years on, we're still here having this conversation on equity, on justice, on access for women. And I had to look back at what we have currently in Africa. So in 1995 till date, we've had about 4 female ministers and prime ministers and about 3 female presidents. Not bad at all, but slow. Yes, very slow. I don't know, when we say it's not bad at all, like it's not totally bad, it means that, there is still hope. But a lot of things have changed. The AI is here to stay, and we have to, by all means, upskill. So for the workplace, for the future of work, the access to opportunity has to be there. Women will have to upskill by all means. And how do we do that? With the AI we have currently. We have courses. We'll have to learn how to integrate our career development, mentorship to AI. So for example, today, Microsoft has this career coach where they can link you based on your expertise, to a mentor or to a coach. That is AI working. So but just imagine if we have, for every woman, for every woman in every workspace, we have, some sort of tool where she can go and say, hey, look, I actually want to upskill in this area. I actually want to move from this point of being an expert in law, because I'm a lawyer, to a sustainability advocate, for example, which I am now. How do I get on with that? The AI tool is able to actually address that concern without any physical interaction with human resources or anybody. So that's access opportunities for AI. Having that platform for women, they can just go there
and have the access to mentorship, to career growth or change, also have access to mentoring, and of course leadership opportunities as well. Then also when it has to do with the opportunities within the workspace. Imagine when it has to do with recruitment exercises, for example. It has been proven that AI has been seen to be about 22% biased when it comes to hiring. So imagine addressing that concern now, wherein we have a tool. We currently have P-metrics and even HireVue, which are actually AI platforms that actually do a lot of screening, on recruitment basis. So it means that once you're an expert, once you are fit for that role, and you actually put in your application, the AI tool is able to screen that process and pick, select, the best based on merits. So having such tools in a workplace where biases are totally addressed, and having that tool, deciding the future of work, deciding a woman who is competent, and making her grow to as much as she wants to, for her to actually achieve her full potential. Imagine we investing in that kind of area. So the future of work is here. It's something we cannot deny, but as much as possible, as I keep saying, for us women, we have to upskill. We have to take the opportunity to match that effort as well. So it means that get yourself professionally certified, get yourself eminently qualified for that role. So that when we're all moving to the future of work, the AI machine as well can also identify that this person is competent, she knows what she's doing, and she can also deliver.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. I think it's quite exciting what AI is doing and all the ways that you can apply AI. When I first heard of AI, the only thing that I usually used to think of was ChatGPT. But now it's been applied in so many sectors like HR, health, everywhere. And it's really exciting to see what we can really achieve in the long run in regards to gender inclusion. So my second question would be, women often face challenges balancing career growth and well-being. How can an AI-driven workplace maybe implement wellness programs to ensure that these female employees, especially those in demanding fields, receive the support they need?
So imagine a management that is intentional, And I actually give the very basic example of how intentional a management can be or a regulator can be. I use a very basic example of the central bank, for example. I worked in the central bank by the way for about 8 years. And in the central bank, prior to a particular year, you didn't have any woman on the board of any bank. You barely had women sitting on the board of banks. But we just had one governor that came on board to say, hey, look, you know what, for every board in every bank, you must have at least 30% of women on that board. And that thing changed. Today we have almost 10 MDs, female MDs. We have so many female chairmen of bank boards and all of that. And that just show you how intentional. So it actually has to do with intentionality of the management, of the regulator, or whoever is in charge. Now imagine a management says, oh, you know what? We understand the issues with wellness, and we understand the issues with women as well. And as a result of that, we'll be able to provide tools, to actually, help in these mental situations. So, for example, for that well-being issue, for example, in an institution, imagine the management saying, you know what, we're going to bring on board tools like Calm. We have a lot of tools online, Calm, health-wise. There's so many of them, and the management is able to sync you in, pay for your subscription, and whenever you're feeling you're unwell, you can do that. Then imagine also having real-time support from AI. It's still investment as well. So we're second back to investment, as I know from this conversation. So the management has to be intentional about that. To say, you know what, we understand, you have some issues. So before I left the central bank, we had, there were conversations about depression. Women postpartum depression, and we had a deputy governor, a female deputy governor that said, you know what, I want to invest in this. And what did she do? She ensured that the bank brought about a coaching mentoring platform and a counseling platform where we'll have therapists come in and see to women's well-being, and even in general, but particularly women's well-being. So imagine investing that same whole energy and that drive into AI. We now have them. We now have those tools. And these tools can be worked from your laptops, your phones, you can access them. So at the end of the day, it still circles back to intentionality and investment of people, into people, in human capital. And like I said before, we have the well-being apps, we have the remote working, which we're all very used to. In fact, I think COVID came to show us that it was possible. Prior to COVID, let me tell you something. In Nigeria, once you say remote working, means you don't go and play at home. You're going to sit and sleep. They'll tell you, no, it's not possible for you to deliver while you're at home. But COVID happened, and I recall when COVID happened, I was in a central bank, and 80% of us were actually asked to go home. But guess what? The central bank had the most productive year in 2020. And most of us had to work from home. We only had 30% of the workforce in the building. 70% of us were actually working from home, and we're productive. And I said, okay, so this could work. And of course, the bank brought about, a remote work policy, but I mean, it was attached to some stringent conditions. You have to bring some, what's it called, evidence and all of that. So that sort of made it very skewed, and we're like, you know what, don't stress me. I'd rather work, in the office. So yes, it still circles back to intentionality. When you look at well-being, the woman who is just giving birth and who wants to take care of her child and still work. That remote work policy can be invoked full-time and giving some consensus as well. Then also the apps for well-being, linking them to coaches, to therapists, just so that they are fine and they can deliver full-time.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Questions So as someone who grew up around women, I have a lot of sisters. This message really hits home. And I can see the madam in front. It's like remote work really affected her. So before we call the session to a close, we would like to maybe take one or two questions. So if you have any question for Ms. Ebaide, yes, please go on. Just be a little.
Sorry, the moderator. We will probably just take one question because we have another section that is hitting up, and time is actually against us.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right. I don't know, please. Oh, yeah, sure.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Ajahn Kunapa, and I'm also a lawyer from Ghana. And I'm not a woman with disability. I have now cerebral palsy, and really, for me, what really hit me from my able counsel was the fact that the use of AI. I, for one, due to my disability, I need what we call the assistive technology. Who is a lawyer without a lawyer? Now, you go to the courtroom, and then you're presenting the case to the judge, and the judge does not hear your voice. So, for almost 5 years, I just had to start practicing. But the judges will not hear my voice. They say my voice was not audible, so most of the time, they just shoot the kid out. Now, sure, this whole CSW system, all I hear, inclusive. What was it about? I was not able women being included in the space. What exactly? I was talking about when we talk about inclusivity. But I'm not hearing nothing about women with disability. Now, mind you, girls will always want to become women. And we do have girls who have disability. Now, I didn't want it to be that in the next 5 years. In the next 5 years. A girl child, when she does not have a disability, can go to law school. the issue is that we are still on, the word from physics. Okay, now we are going to using the microscope on a very large scale. That we are forgetting that the impact is so small.
Yeah.
Imagine that we use the microscope that is so small. Obviously, it's going to catch fire.
Oh, yeah.
Catch fire.
All right, thank you very much.
Sorry, moderator. This is quite a 2 seconds thing. So can everyone consign that this is a voice, an issue that we need to tackle? Can we just now meet and then do that? Who will do that? Exactly. So please, could you please see her? Thank you very much. Please, just see her and
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, they will attend to you. Thank you so much for speaking up. We are all in this time. Thank you for speaking up.
You know, in Nigeria, they say we are very learned. We say we are learned and we think we know everything. But hey, my learned friend, you're doing well. And we'll definitely connect.
Thank you so much for the Vivacity PR team. This is a great segment and we really applaud. We want to make sure at least by 4 o'clock we're out of here. We appreciate those who are coming very early. I've seen some people who were here like before 12, and we see you all dressed in your green and gold. We see how some recipients of the award. So I would like to call on the next panel for Sanicle because we're going to be doing it as quick as possible. Can we get Dr. Makweji, please? So the next panel will be about closing the gender pay gap around AI, ELGs, and inclusive. Inclusion was one of the topics she discussed, and we will be able to also see how to tackle it. I'll be the moderator for this panel. My name is Jason Egbidion, Chief Period Officer at Sanicle.com. I'll also be calling on Ceci. If Ceci is in the room, she should please join us now. She is the Senior Research Manager at the Yale Inclusion Economist. Then we also have on the same panel is Dr. Chinyere Anyogo, who would also be joining us. She's the immediate past president of ANIPA. We also have joining us is Councilwoman Roxy, who is also on our way to join us soon. Then we also have Rashmi Joshi, CEO and founder of Asha AI. I met her at the CES in Las Vegas. That was one big conference that was well attended by technology experts. And I'll also be calling on Zuri from Femtech Weekend to also join us on this panel quickly. Thank you so much. Hello. Okay. Thank you so much. We know a lot of people are also joining us online for this segment, and because we're going to be walking around with so much script, I'd like to first welcome you to the Beyond Beijing Summit. Today we're tackling the $150 billion crisis of workplace absenteeism tied to menstrual and menopause health. And I also want to acknowledge my Glow family that is here. Ms. Foluka Ademola, can you wave from the back, please? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting us. And thank you for giving us all of this encouragement since this CSW has started. We also used today's panel to bring together extraordinary leaders who is to explore how AI, employee resource groups, and inclusive policies can close the gender pay and pay gap and create workplaces where no one loses their job over a natural biological process. So I would like my panelists to quickly introduce themselves, then we can get on starting. So I have Rashmi Josh closer to me. Can you please quickly introduce yourself and let people know? Yeah.
Thank you, happy to. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me here. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. My name is Rashmi Joshi. I'm the founder and CEO of Asha AI. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been a career entrepreneur working on basically driving innovation in various fashions for most of my career, and been on the investor side of the table as well. So happy to be here with you. And Asha in particular is very near and dear to my heart because I founded the company after my grandmother went through cancer. And I wanted a tool that was easy for anyone to chat with, whether they're elderly, disabled, going through cognitive decline, or dealing with really intense cancer treatment. And it would help bridge the gap between a family member or a professional caregiver being there with them physically. So that's why I built Asha. It's named after my grandma. It means hope in Sanskrit. And I'm excited to get to know the other panelists here. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. You know me maybe before. For who don't know me, so I'm Du. I'm founder and CEO of Femtech Weekend. So if you haven't heard of the concept of Femtech, it's like fintech, but the Femtech, what does that mean is we use technology to solve for women's health, and it's a new category in tech world. So what does Femtech Weekend do? We are the Femtech ecosystem in China, and we do it now through a hackathon. So Sanicle Cloud in a partnership, we just did a hackathon and build a women's health platform to connect the employer and employee. Outside of that, we will share all the Femtech insights with China, and our goal is to connect China with the global Femtech ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it working?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be part of this panel and to contribute to these very essential and interesting discussions. So I'm a CSW69 Senior Research Manager at Yale Inclusion Economics. I've been working with research institutions and also policymakers and international organizations on women's economic empowerment, digital and financial inclusion, and also on gender-based violence. So my work is in between policy and research, trying to understand what's efficient, so doing impact evaluation with rigorous methodologies that we call randomized control trial, coming from the health and medicine field. So that's a bit the scope of my work, and I focus mostly on the African continent, but I also worked in India, Pakistan, and Peru.
Thank you so much, Ceci, for sharing that. One of the most interesting things about this panel is we're not just going to be talking about AI. We want to make sure at least it gives you a different lens into women-related causes, especially the idea of not just project, but about more around product. But I'll take Ceci's first. Your research at Yale focuses on gender and economy inclusion. How can AI-driven insights and workplace policies be leveraged to address systemic barriers that hinders women's economic participation, particularly in regions where informal labor and social norms play a significant role?
Thank you very much. Before jumping straight away in the response, I wanted to take a step back and share a few figures that will help understand the scope of the problem and what we're talking about, and also why it matters. As an economist, I like numbers, so bear with me if you don't like numbers. But if you look at the labor force participation, only 49% of women globally participate in the labor force compared to 73% of men. So this gap of about 30 percentage points has been quite stable since the 90s, so we haven't made much progress on that. And of course, there is a large disparity across countries, with women labor force participation being as low as 5%, that's the case in Yemen and Afghanistan, and as high as 83%.
That's the case in Madagascar, and just for your information, Nigeria is third with 81%, so not doing so bad. Actually great, even we can say. So that's just to understand the labor force participation. If you add on top of that the invisible work of women in the unpaid care economy, that's also a huge amount that is sometimes estimated to be about 9% of the global GDP and $11 trillion unaccounted and so completely invisible of the workforce. And so even when women are actually in the labor force, they do face a lot of challenges. They are overrepresented in the informal sector, about 60% globally, but it can go up to 90% in some of the lowest income countries. They do more part-time jobs. They don't have the same security in the informal sector, no contract, no benefits. So that's also a main challenge. And we talked before about the pay gap. It is estimated at about 20%. Of course, again, we have huge disparities here across countries. And then if you look at the career progression of women, they face a lot of challenges. And we touched on some of them, I think, in the previous panels. In terms of health, every month we have menstruation, and that can be quite a problem for some of the women. Of course, there is marriage that can just pull back women from the labor force. That's something we clearly see in India, for instance, where women are expected to stay at home and take care of the household as soon as they get married. And then you have the motherhood penalty, which can affect their earning and even their labor force participation. There is an interesting study in Denmark, which is supposed to be quite advanced in terms of gender intentional policy, but these studies show that the first child leads to a 20% decrease in women's earning, and males' earnings stay the same. So just to say, imagine tomorrow you have in 9 months you have a child, you stop working, and then you lose 20% of your salary. This is a huge decrease. So just aligning on that, and I forgot to mention menopause, but it's also obviously a real challenge. So I think on top of these challenges, you add all the barriers and the structural barriers that women face, from social norm, access to education and training that we mentioned as well before, mobility and flexibility that makes the journey of a woman to enter, stay, and thrive in the workforce very, very difficult. And so I want to be still optimistic despite this bad picture that I'm bringing. AI and technology can definitely help overcome some of these barriers. For instance, at Yale Inclusion Economics, we're working with this organization in Korea to provide women in rural areas jobs on their smartphones, so simple tasks, where they need to just record their voice to read messages in local languages. And that will feed the database of AI models, using these remote and community knowledge and cultures as well to preserve these languages that may be different from certain communities across the countries. So I think this is just to give you a concrete example. Of course, policies play a key role in terms of parental leave, health benefits, subsidized childcare is an important one. And I think what the work we've tried to do at Yale Inclusion Economics is to look at the issue in a holistic manner. So acknowledging that you need to work on economic empowerment, on digital inclusion, financial inclusion, because women need to be able to access and control their own earning, and also, of course, shifting social norms. And so for that, we work closely with families. We engage men and voice as well from the household and the community, the group of women and network of women, and more broadly, local leaders are also an important role.
Okay, thank you so much.
Just to summarize,
I think it just gives a surface of a lot of the things about the economic importance of that thing, even despite in different regions. Even you mentioned Madagascar, and also you mentioned Nigeria. The true part of making sure this segment is that we would like to take a lot from our panelists and see what we can take on. But I'll go to Rashmi quickly. We met at one of the first and biggest event of the year, which is the CES. You know, it was a lot of inventions. Sometimes you wonder, is AI this really big? You know, we had interventions coming even as far as China with a lot of people. But I want to look at you from the direction, and I also want to acknowledge the Honorable Roxy Idemadu, who is joining us now. I know you had to beat the traffic to be here. Thank you so much for joining us. So Rashmi, we'll talk about Asha AI. It empowers non-tech savvy communities. How can we design AI tools that don't just include women, but actively dismantle barriers tied to X? A lot of people want to create a product. They want to how do I solve this problem? You know, is it menopause? Is it cancer? Is it menstrual health? You know, when you were envisioning building Asha AI, what was going through your mind? And what do you think someone in this room right now can do as next step in building that app?
So I think that one of the biggest things that AI technology recently has given us is that you actually don't need to learn how to code. You don't need to learn how to do basic legal work. There's so many different tools that are coming out on the market today that are able to help you from any background without really having a strong knowledge base get started on exploring how you solve a problem and do it quickly. So this means that the barrier to entry is much, much lower for any kind of innovator, no matter where they're coming from, what kind of resources they have. When you think about building a startup even 5 years ago, in the tech space, you had to have at least a couple $100,000 in the bank to be able to pay developers if you didn't know how to code yourself. And so for a lot of folks who are coming from low socioeconomic backgrounds or places in the world where they don't have access to education, even learning how to do basic coding work is an uphill battle. So now there is a whole set of different kinds of AI tools that you can use to build an application without actually needing any coding skills at all. So I think that's a huge decrease in the barrier to entry for allowing innovators of all kinds, including women, to build new innovations and get them out on the market quickly, test them, and leverage that into an actual business moving forward.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I also would acknowledge Emmanuel Basui, who also built an app called Onye, which is spelled as O-N-Y-E. If you check it out, one of those tools are empowering also women in the health space in Nigeria. So but I will move quickly to Zuri. Zuri, this question will be more practical. You know, we're talking about the Beijing+30 summit, which is 30 years of declaration and action platform. And you had to work with some amazing talent around building a product, you know, around menstrual health tracking and event pay, some features that will streamline activities to help working women, especially in the workplace, because we've seen a lot of time women struggle to get their employers to support them, especially access to getting products, for example. And you work with these amazing people. Can you share with us that experience for you as quick as possible?
There are kind of 2 points, 2 sides I would like to share. I think on one side from the innovators who want to actually use technology to make some change either in the workplace or in the daily life. A lot of these women, they come in, we all know, I think based on McKinsey, they published a report about women's health. Actually, it's a 1 trillion opportunity. A lot of innovators, they come in, they don't just go for that 1 trillion opportunity. They go for it because of pinpoint here. So that's the first thing. I think a lot of innovators in China, they just want to solve that problem for themselves. And then they have that skill set, the technical skills to solve that problem. However, they don't have the platform where they can be seen and be.
Thank you so much. Hello. Thank you so much for that great presentation. With no further ado, this is our Nobel 2025 recipients for Emerging Excellence. I'd like to call on Guy of UNESCO. I would like to call our Taylor Kamara Diallo. Yunusa Kala, please can you join them on stage, please? Can I have Ekanem also from the UNA Nigeria to join as we present to all of these amazing recipients their plaques? So as we take the continuations of checking on the plaques, I'd like to call on Guy and Awa to come on stage and say a few words to all our honorees, inducting them into the Hall of Fame. Where is Guy?
Well, anyway, I think the stage is quite full, and I think a lot has been said. So I'm going to operate from down here. See how special I am? 2 mics. You know what they say? When women lead, what happens? You gotta know. When women lead, you better have an idea, girl. When women lead, men follow and things get done. Okay? Yes, Guy, follow me.
So that things will get done, right?
So that things will get done. Now we're saying that the stage is quite full, so I'm quite happy over here, but please go ahead. We've been given that honored task to give the awards. So it's been quite an afternoon, and this is an inaugural event, so I think bear with us with the growing pains. I already told the Honorable Minister the next time we give this award, it will be done like this. And that's how heavy they're going to be. But it's been a lot of work with all the people who are on board, all the partners. I see Dr. Pedro here, Fanu, Chase is here, many other people, Emmanuel. So many people who've been working behind the scenes. And what I can say, we're still standing on our 2 feet and we're smiling, so that says a lot. I think it's important for us to honor the work that each and every one of you does, because I know that you are phenomenal champions in your own rights, championing for all really SDG-related, global-related issues, emerging issues, and local issues. I think it's important for us not to only talk about large organizations like the United Nations, like the African Union, like the European Union, and so on and so forth, but to really spotlight the work that people like our awardees on the stage do on a daily basis. Many of these people I know, I've seen them really trailblaze, not only in Conference Room 4 or the General Assembly of the UN, or maybe going to a conference abroad in China or Nepal or in Ghana or in Kathmandu or Montpellier, France, but really on a daily basis, having that passion in their hearts, having that determination to get the job done. And not only the women, the men too. So for me, it's an honor to be here and to acknowledge you and to present to you with this NOVA Class of 2025 award. I know it's only the beginning, and you're gonna keep illuminating as we go forward. I'm looking really forward to hearing what you're gonna do in 2025 as we go into 26, and welcoming you back as we grow next year. Thank you so much. So on behalf of all the organizers, congratulations, felicitations, felicidades. Thank you. So shall we start?
Show who is here and who is not, so we can just introduce yourself so we can just pull up your.
I know some of the people that are here, I have them on my hand. I'm honored to give an award to my dear sister who's bedazzling over there, fantabulous, Luz Maria. Oh. So maybe what I might do, I don't have much space. Maybe he can be there to take it. Yes, take it. Luz Maria is somebody who I've known for quite some time, has been championing a lot of gender issues, and who is just really a phenomenal person. I don't know if you have a few words, 2 or 3 words.
My name is Luz Maria Utrera. I'm the president and founder of Fundación Luz Maria that have a COSOC status and DPI Association that now is HCC. And I'm so happy to be here with all these champions in their fields. So Congratulations to everyone and God bless. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next, I have a young lady who I've watched grow, and she's even bigger than I am. From that place we call Sierra Leone, Miss Mariam Hassan.
So we like Madam Tolulope to be with them so that please everyone on the race can take a picture with them. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm being told we have less than 5 minutes, so we're going to do Speedy Gonzalez.
Okay.
So West African.
Thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to thank the two amazing people that have been around for the past 3-4 years in my journey of advocacy. This is my boss, Madam Marcela Sambasise, and a he or she champion in our country, Mr. Sak Kendema. This is one of the best that I've received to acknowledge my effort beyond my country. So I want to say thank you to all of you here. I am the Advocacy Officer for Young Men in Democracy Forum. Being here today means my boss is doing the work she has always wished to happen, which is young women's representation. So thank you very much. I appreciate everyone here.
Thank you so much. So next we're going to have my dear friend and sister, Dr. Padmini Murthy. So let's take spaces and we eat. Take some pictures, please. Next we have Polasho da Silva.
Polusha da Silva.
Thank you. Richard Isare. If I can call my brother Emmanuel to accept the award for Chi Achebe. Emmanuel?
Thank you. Since I don't have the mic, I have to say this. This is for my wife. She's already for women right equality. She's the fourth one. You can check her Facebook, the Beyond.
Thank you so much. Now we can have Oluwakemi and Melody Ariola.
Our sponsor.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I dedicate this to God.
Oh my God.
Thank you. Can I have my sister, Dr. Dior Fall, Didi Dior Fall?
Oh my God.
That's the femme, formidable.
Thank you so much for the organization, my dear brother Chase. More coming, inshallah. Thank you so much. Thank you. And this is good because my partner in crime is here.
Good crime.
And next we're calling Mr. UNICEF Precious Salu Kalon, Ambassador at Large. Also from Sierra Leone, the green, white, and blue is flagging the flagging. Next I have my dear sister, Mary Apollo.
I made it to 10 years, huh?
Thank you so much.
Next we have Adu Kadiri.
I'm a global citizen and a global ambassador. I have a passion for advocacy and work and empowering young women. Like any other young women, I have faced challenges, gone through hard times. but I came and overcome it. And now working on mobilizing more young women. But the good news is that we are bringing you more talented young women, women who are experts, leading with passion, women who are making change. Thank you.
Let's have a young lady who is championing the world, straight from Ghana, Rosamond Yeboah. She's doing some phenomenal things on the continent. Get to know her face now.
So I dedicate all this to education for young people in Africa.
Next we have another phenomenal woman, Celia Blanca Flor. Oh my God. And I know she's here with her family as well. Congratulations. Next we have Ambassador Shana Boot. Did I say that correctly? C'est français? Félicitations. I know. Next we have Toyin Omolola. Toyin. Rhoda Robinson. Is Rhoda Robinson here? She's beautiful. Is there anybody at the stage? Gail Carter, I think Gail Davis is there. Is there anybody on the stage that we have not called? Elizabeth Chen. We're pleased to honor Elizabeth Chen. On behalf of someone who has worked tirelessly in Nigeria to make sure that this event goes well, I'm going to ask you to collect the award on behalf of my dear sister, Gail Davis Carter. Last but not least, I seem to be collecting the award for Ishmael Baj Chalakamara Jr., who is my brother, who could not be here with us today. Is there anybody else in the room? Anybody in the house who has not